You're on it.
Would everybody please take their seats? Good morning and welcome to what we think is going to be an incredible event for everybody. My name is Chris Trapani and I'm from Catalyst, and Robert Olivas. Where's Robert? There's Robert, my partner Robert, and we have a number of our teammates here. Would everybody from Catalyst please raise their hand? Stand up? Okay, we got a few of the Catalyst agents here. The word catalyst means to spur you to action. A catalyst is somebody or something that creates a reaction that moves, and usually in a positive manner. Today, we have a fantastic lineup of people that every now and then in your lifetime, somebody comes along who can change your life. This person had a big vision for herself. And I think it's an absolutely incredible vision. How many of you got into this business so you could close 1 or 2 deals a year? Nobody. How many of you came to this business with a dream? Everybody, right? Well, a dream uninvested in labor is wasted. It's nothing. But today could be a new start for each and every one of you. So I want you to listen to a couple of people who are here to talk to you that can change your life if you listen. Do what they teach you. They've done it. They had a bigger vision for their life. So I want to welcome, first of all, with a commitment to excellence, Mr. Excellence, Mike Oyoque.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. They tell us that we could only use one mic at a time.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You know, yesterday we had a full house in Downey where we had a gentleman by the name of Eloy Villamil, who taught everybody how to close 40 deals a year. He's been doing it consistently for 5 years, and he brought a gentleman in that's only been in the business 3 years, and he's closing like 48 transactions. Awesome. The Mr. Excellence seminars, the whole goal for me is to try to put together some great events at no cost to you. A lot of times people invite us, hey, come to an event, come to an event. You come to the event, and then you walk out with a $700 seminar, you walk out with a $1,200 weekend retreat or something, and it sets back the agents. So I've kind of learned that, heck, if I can put stuff together, bring in great speakers, and people that can help you change your lives, I believe it'll go ahead and go a long ways. This is our 4th seminar, Robert. First time, second, this is our 4th one, and we got the great Marty Rodriguez. How many of you came from far away today? I want to see just where you guys came from. Yes, sir. San Marino. Downey. Monterey Park. Torrance. Costa Mesa. Whittier. Montebello. Anybody else? Marty, you have a lot of fans all over the place. This lady has been in the business for over 34 years. I've been in the business just a little over 28. And through my whole real estate career, I've heard the name Marty. And one of her, is it your nephew, Javier? Javier is her nephew who worked for me for many years. And through a lot of times, I knew the name Marty. This, you know, everybody can have a great year. But having it year after year after year after year, I remember back in 1990, 89, you know, Marty Rodriguez, #1 in the world, #1. Everywhere we went, she was #1. And I'll tell you one thing, for me, Marty has been an inspiration. And a lot of times, whether we like it or not, you know, people touch our lives, whether we want to accept it or not. And to me, Marty, even though I know Marty very little in the sense of that we communicate and we know of each other, you know, she has touched my life and I've always followed her numbers. I think her numbers at the end of 7 months, you're at $1.9 million in closings, in gross closed commissions. She just missed the $2 million in commissions this year by about $50,000, and that's in the first 7 months. So with 34 years of business, please help me welcome the great Marty Rodriguez. I'm going to ask a couple of questions to Marty. Marty's going to answer them, and then as we go down the path, as we go down the time, we're going to go ahead and bring the audience to ask the questions that you want to hear. First of all, Marty, question number one. You've been in the business for 34 years. What inspired you to get into the real estate business?
Well, actually, my husband, because he always knew that I could sell. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and I was the best Christmas card seller, I was the best candy seller. I could outsell any kid in school since I was 6 years old. But you know, we are all born with certain talents, okay? And we marry the person that brings out the best in us, or we marry the person that will take it away from us. Amen. So, you know, for me, I've been very fortunate and very lucky. I've been married for 41 years to the same man.
Wow.
What did you do prior to real estate? What was your career?
Actually, out of high school, I worked at Allstate Insurance, and you know, basically just doing. I started. But this is my new insurance guy right here. Actually, started out of high school working in files department and going to school at night at Rio Hondo College. At Allstate, I stayed there 5 years and. Worked 2 jobs, because I always worked 2 jobs, because when I was in high school, I worked on the Neighborhood Youth Corps program at Bishop Mon High School. I was a secretary to Father Dorsey. I worked at Roscoe's 5 and Dime. I was a cheerleader, and I got good grades. So, what you condition your children to do is what you will get. Okay? It's all about conditioning. Whether it's your kids, it's the people you work with. Remember that. That's like very, very important. Our parents taught us about hard work. I'm one of 11 kids. My mom had 11 kids in 15 years. And, you know, my father never collected welfare because he says the system owes you nothing. My father was in the Army, served under General MacArthur in the South Pacific. He said that the system owes you nothing. You are to earn everything on your own merit. You know what? And that's what America forgot. And that's why we're in the mess we're in today. You know what? People need to go to work. Just like, you know, us real estate agents. People think real estate is a part-time job. This is not a part-time job, guys. This is a real job. And if you want your dreams to come true, the first thing you have to do is wake up. Yes. And make it happen.
Last night, Marty called me at 10:30 at night. She was still at the office last night. I said, "Are you ready for tomorrow?" And I said, "Yes." And she asked me, "What do you want to talk about?" I said, "You know what, Marty? Don't hold back. If you got to grind them, grind them. It's not a little soft approach and, you know, cookie cutter thing." I go, let's tell it like it is. Because, you know what, we want to wake up people. And we want them to see the great talent that Marty has. So that way, you guys can go ahead and get something of value. Marty, what motivated you at the beginning? Did you struggle at the beginning? Or when you got in, did you just flew like a kite?
You have to remember, 34 years ago, we didn't have computers. You guys don't know how lucky you are that you can do a CMA like in, you know, 5 minutes. It would take me all day long to do a CMA. And, you know, I didn't like the telephone, so I would go door to door. I was in front of people, you know. I had to see their faces. I had to talk to them. So you have to decide, you know, how you're going to prospect. How you're going to get customers. They're not going to fall out of the sky on your desk. So you guys have to figure out, am I going to cold call? Am I going to go door to door? Am I, you know, going to work all my internet leads and respond to them when they, you know, when they respond to me? Because if you don't respond immediately, they've already, you know, contacted 5 other people. So these are all things that, you know, you have to do. And like I said, and for me, you know, I was a Caravan chairman of the board for 12 years, so I was on Caravan twice a week, 3 hours at it, you know, so 6 hours of my week were basically looking at property. And to this day, people will tell you they're pretty amazed that I can almost describe a house from my desk. I know the streets, I know the houses, I know the neighborhoods, I know the schools, so I'm really, really savvy about, you know, the area that I work. So when I get a client, I know how to wow them. And that's, you have to get to that point. And you start a step at a time. Like I said, I came to a completely new area. Glendora was not, I was raised in El Monte. I was, I told you, one of 11 kids raised in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. You know what that was like, getting up in the morning to go to the bathroom? And you know where we got our competitive edge. But, again, it's, how are you going to get your customers? How are you going to prospect? People go to the office and they want the broker to do everything. The broker can't do everything for you. You've got to do a lot of these things for yourself. As the broker can prepare the office, make sure you have the resources that you need. But at the end of the day, it's all about us. I think this market shows me how good I really am. I mean, I'm doing transactions today. If I wasn't the agent, would not be happening, guaranteed. In the last 12 months, I probably have had like 12 loans that were rejected. I know the numbers because, if you've ever done a transaction with me, I'm like the real estate police. I want a fully executed contract because most of my contracts are not always fully executed. So a lot of agents really don't even know how to write a legal contract. That's pretty scary. So you better learn that contract frontwards, backwards, and know what every inch of that contract means. Because in my office, everybody knows the contract in and out, including every staff member that works in the office. They understand the contract. So it's got to be fully executed. I want to copy the buyer's check. I want verification down payment. That means I want a bank statement that's no more than 30 days old. So don't send me a bank statement 6 months old because you know what? Your offer's going nowhere. That's right. All right? And then I want the pre-qual, pre-approval is better, and their credit scores. Because when I get a loan and the lender tells me it's rejected, it's like, no, not happening. Give me the package. I've taken 12 of those in the last probably 10, 12 months, and I've closed them with the mortgage people that I work with. Because I know the numbers. And I know that I got a halfway decent buyer. So, these are the kind of things that today I'm able to do because of my knowledge and my experience. And believe it or not, sometimes I have to fight the agent for the package. They don't want to give it to me. I go, are you kidding me? I'm trying to give you a paycheck. So I actually just closed another one where the agent wasn't responding and the lender wasn't responding. But I thought, that buyer really wants a house. He wrote an offer before he even saw it. So I told Peter, I go, Peter, go pull the file. Find me the buyer's phone number. So he found me the buyer's phone number. I called my seller. I said, will you call this buyer? Sure enough, the buyer couldn't stand his agent, couldn't stand his lender. He said they were both liars. So you know what? I pulled the deal, took it to my lender, and I closed it. It was a $1.1 million house out here in Rancho, Cucamonga. That girl got a paycheck because of me. Wow. And he says, I don't even want to talk to her. Okay? So these are the things that, that people like us do who are really serious about real estate. So the question is, how serious are you about real estate?
Marty, question. Agent comes in brand new. You have the talent. You have the talent, all the ingredients to succeed. What does the agent need to do to succeed in today's times?
Well, I think first of all, they have to find, I always tell my agents, I go, you need to interview the office that you want to work for. It's like, okay, we're going to be a team, so what do you have to offer me, and this is what I have to offer you. So it's kind of like, they're not just interviewing you, you're interviewing them too. That's how I see it. Because I don't like to, use people. I remember when I was brand new and all these agents would make me, tell me, oh, we just did open house on my house. And it was like, yeah, they made me sit open house on a house where there was no traffic just to satisfy their seller, and they were taking advantage of me as a new agent. Don't anybody do that to you. You're going to sit open house. I want you to sit where there's going to be traffic, where you're going to, be able to find, prospects. Don't let people use you as a new agent. And, I know a lot of my new agents, they'll come to me and, we try to help them, and I want to share my stories with them so that they can get to where I am quicker than it took me, because I had to make a lot more mistakes than they're going to have to make. I've already made the mistakes for them so that, people like myself or Michael, can teach you. We've been there. You don't have to make the mistake. And hopefully that, with the computer today and everything else, it took me a long time to get to where, where I am today, but if I had computers, I would have got there a lot quicker. So that's where you guys are lucky. You've got the computers, you've got the technology, and everything is so much better. Learning, you want to learn something, you just Google it, you find it. we couldn't do that. We had to pull books and read, and it took forever. So, you guys don't understand how lucky you are. So you should be getting there faster than anybody else.
Sure. All right, another question that I got for you, Marty. Haters. There's haters out there. I hear people say, I could be like Marty Rodriguez, but I want a life. I could be like Marty Rodriguez if I put in the time. I've heard it for the last 28 years. How do you feel about that, Marty?
What people think about me is none of my business. Because you know what? I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of doing. And when somebody asked my daughter, they said, because the way my operation runs, my daughter Shelly runs the business side of my company. She graduated from USC Marshall School of Business. And so somebody asked her one time, and I know they wanted a negative response. They said, don't you wish your mom had been there more when you were growing up? And she said, if my mom had been there more, I would have graduated from USC. So you guys have to understand, there's a price to pay for everything you want in life. You just got to decide what price you're willing to pay. And I know what price I'm willing to pay. Because I was raising that money in that 2-bedroom house, and I ain't going back.
Big round of applause for that. Marty, in the last 34 years, the last name Rodriguez, today it carries a lot of weight in the real estate world. But I can imagine 34 years ago, the demographics were different and things. How hard was that for you to adapt?
Well, and I think that was, pretty much when I moved to Glendora, because I started my business. I lived in El Monte, and I worked out of the San Dimas office, and I knew I was going to move to Glendora because then my husband and I were building a house. That took us 3 years to build. So I knew that was where I was going to be. So the demographics were definitely, pretty white. Glendora was when I first came there. So yeah, was it difficult? But you have to understand, when we were raised, my dad didn't raise us like that. He didn't tell us that you're Hispanic and people are going to treat you different. He just told us to go out there. I didn't know anything. I didn't understand prejudice because my dad never spoke about it at home, and neither did my mother. So when you speak about it and you teach your children that, then you are going to, take away from them what they could be. Oh, I remember when I moved to Glendora and we joined the summer program at Glendora Country Club. And my daughter is very dark complected. So and my mom is very white, because Mexicans are prejudiced too. My grandmother didn't like my father because he was dark, and my mom was very white, and my daughter's very dark. And I remember my mom said, "Don't let Shelly go in the sun because she's too dark." And I said, you know what? Shelly will never know that she's dark. She will be treated like everybody else. And that's what you have to understand about everybody, about us and who we are, and that I can achieve. I went to Bishop Amant. I didn't know I could be a cheerleader because that was a pretty white school when I went to Bishop Amant. But one girl told me one day, she goes, "You're really cute. You should go out for cheerleading." And I thought, wow, I never knew I was cute. Because when you're one of 11 kids, nobody tells you that. So you know what? Because remember, she changed my life. And there's going to be somebody that's going to change your life. So because of what she said to me, I went for it. And I was a cheerleader at Almont for 3 years. Well, actually, we were cheerleader, song leader, cheerleader. And then my other 3 sisters followed. But you see, I set the way for them. Because I remember when my sister Rosie didn't win, and it's like, I knew the numbers. And I told sister, I go, "No, sister, somebody cheated. They pulled the numbers and somebody cheated." And my sister was a cheerleader. Because you know what? Like they say, no me dejo. And you do that with everything in life. If you let people run over you, you will always be sitting on the back seat. It was yesterday, my husband had an infection. I called the doctor, and they said, well, we're really booked. You can't come till September. I go, no, you don't understand. This is an emergency. And I'm thinking, what if people don't fight the way I do for the things I want? They got him in yesterday, and it was a very serious case because he had shingles that could affect his eye. I'm thinking, what if I hadn't fought for that? But I fight that way for everything that I want in life. Because, if we don't fight, we don't get sometimes. And that's sometimes how I, put transactions together. It's not so much about fighting, but being, assertive, I don't like the word aggressive, I think I like the word assertive better, But the main thing is that no is not an option. You know how many times people tell me no? My daughter Shelly used to say, Mom, she goes, yes means yes, and no means yes. Okay, that's my philosophy. Because so many times people have said no to me, and I've gotten past no. I mean, when you knock those doors, they keep telling you no. You keep knocking until somebody says yes. Or someday, you know what, somebody's going to say, you know what? Now I notice that person. She's always out there. She's always working. She's always, here. She's there. She's everywhere. Because I didn't get here by accident, guys. I just kept showing up. People got tired of me showing up. And pretty soon, one day, somebody gives you a break. And somebody says, let's give her a try. She looks like a hard worker. So what do people think about you? What do people say about you? What are you doing to get to that point? I didn't have all the resources that you have, so I used to set open houses. I used to knock doors, and even today, everywhere I go, I try to give people my card and ask them if they want to buy a house. I'm still prospecting. I'm at the gas station. Somebody made a comment about my card. I gave him my card. Because I don't know. He might know somebody that might want to buy or sell. I went to buy luggage in downtown LA at 7 hours, and the guy I was talking to said, I got a house in South Pasadena, and we want to buy, it's a condo, and I want to buy a house. So I called my friend Hilda Hernandez out in Pasadena. Hilda sold his condo and sold him a house, so I got a referral for over 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? If you don't ask, you don't get, guys. There's prospects everywhere you look.
Marty, is there hope for the real estate agents today? And what is it that they gotta not do? Because a lot of times, everybody whines and grinds and says, the market's bad. I've always told everybody, if you close 2 deals a month yourself, who cares if the whole world's falling apart? You're gonna be okay. How do you see that? How do you see that in the agents today? Can they still succeed in the business?
Again, like I said, what the market does is none of my business. My job is to put buyers and sellers together. You know what? Sometimes, it's good that all those other people are crying, because while they're crying, I'm selling. Okay? So if you guys want to hang around with those people, you're going to get nowhere. I can cry all day long. Oh my God, unemployment, in LA County is 11%. In San Bernardino, it's 13%. In Riverside, it's 14, 15%. But you know what? 11% unemployment, but guess what? There's 89% of the people that want to buy.
Yeah.
Duh. 89%. You're going to focus on 11% of the people that don't have jobs? No.
And the 11%,
it is what it is, and we can't change it.
And the 11% need a real estate agent because they want to get rid of their house.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what's really? I guess it's kind of sad because it does bring short sales and other situations. But remember, that is still our opportunity. And somebody's got to sell it. So I pray to God it's going to be me. So in every situation, there's tragedy can also bring business, but that's reality. And there's also, our standard sales. And so when the market shifted, I had to shift my mind. It's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to stay in business? Because, I've been doing this for 34 years and I have staying power. Remember, number 1 is a byproduct of skill, hard work, persistence, perseverance, and a lot of energy. Because number 1 means nothing. It's what it really means. That's what it really means. So, again, you've got to decide, how you're going to make things happen for you.
Marty, what are your goals? You've achieved every goal possible that you wanted. Is there a certain goal that you still have? I mean, there has to be. Because everybody, it's the journey that you got to have fun with. Because once you get there, you say, well, I'm already here. I got to set another goal. What are the goals for Marty?
Well, I have a whole, team that I'm responsible for. Starting from, my daughter who runs the company, my stepson Ed, who's my sales manager. Ed manages the sales team, so he makes sure everybody shows up, dress up. We do accountability. You produce or you're out. Okay, because this is a real job, and this is how you create a culture in an office. And then my son Sean does all our technology and works on the bank repo team. And then we have our office is open 7 days a week. Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. and that's not 8:01, that's not 8:02, that's not 8:03, that is 8 o'clock in the morning, my office is open. The staff punches in with their thumbprint, but guess what? Shelley rewards them for being on time, so attendance is not an issue because it is the standard. And then we have a listing coordinator, a marketing coordinator, and a girl that assists those 2 desks. And then we have 2 transaction coordinators, 2 girls that, a girl that works on the REO desk, and then another girl that assists that individual. And then Marina manages my sales support staff, Marina Hernandez. So we have a great team, and I have great people. I took a management course with my kids 14 years ago. It's called MAP. Management Action Programs is a management training company out of Orange County. It trains your Bank of America, Wells Fargo management teams. And that's when I found out for sure that I should never run my company. Because that is not my strength. And that's where a lot of top producers, lose out too, because, they start doing work that they shouldn't be doing. Because their strength, if your strength is sales, then that's where you want to stay. And that's why I'm able to do such a good job at what I do, because I don't do anything else but sell real estate. I've delegated everything else, little by little, because when I first started, remember, I had to do everything. And then when my bills started getting like this, it was like, oh my God, and then I hired a girl from England, Us Mexicans, we hired a girl from England. And I sponsored her to come to the U.S. In fact, we're still friends. So she got her, papers, and she worked for me for about 7 years. That was probably the best thing I ever did. Because, you know what, I told my husband, I go, I'm gonna get a housekeeper. He goes, no, he goes, you can clean house and do everything too. So it was like, oh my God, when I got the housekeeper, he was mad. And so then I thought, okay, now I gotta prove to him that I can pay for this girl. So, you know what, she helped me focus, and then I started making sales, and then pretty soon my husband says, oh my God, don't even make the bed, just go to work. Because you see, it's all about focus. It's all about focusing on, on getting the job done and making it happen. So once I started to focus, and I started getting rid of the bills, and then in 1989 when the market changed, a girl came to me and she said, she worked in the office, she goes, Marty, I can see you're drowning, you need help. I was working until like 2 o'clock in the morning because now the market was shifting. Things weren't selling. So then I hired her part-time, and in no time she was full-time. So then I started delegating, and then I thought, okay, how am I gonna keep these people happy and still make it through this tough time in '89? So I made less net dollars, but I still stayed in business. So then, I went through that whole market, in '89 to '97 when the market, took a dip. And I was still selling real estate. And people were saying, that Marty Rodriguez, she's driving the market down. It's like what they didn't get, I knew where the market was. I would go on an appointment, they'd say, so-and-so said it was worth this. I go, well, no, it's worth here. And then 6 months later, they call me and say, well, it didn't sell, can you not list it here? I go, no, now it's worth here. So you have to know your markets, okay? And so when people badmouth me, I don't care. I know how to sell houses, and I knew where the market was. They were trying to give them a pipe dream. And that's why I'm able to sell even in, in this market, because I always know where my market is and where the house is going to sell and where it's going to move. And I'm able to show them. I always tell my clients, I got 2 things that are most valuable to selling a house today. You have statistics and feedback. What's selling and what are they saying about your house? So those are the 2 most valuable tools that that you can provide them with to get that property sold. So again, it's just knowing your market.
All right. Let's bring up questions from the audience, because I'll tell you, these first 30 minutes to me, my blood is boiling already. I feel like the dreams, what I'm doing, it's just opened up my box. And if you think I've been very hard on you guys and all the invitations, wait till next week. It'll be even bigger. Questions from the audience. Young lady right there with the hand up.
Hi, Marty.
Stand up, tell us who you are, what city you came from, and ask the question.
My name is Veronica. I came down from Victorville.
Okay.
That's where I live. But my question is, well, I don't know if it's a question. I just kind of go where the wind blows me as far as listings and buyers and those types of things. My question to you is, should I just focus on maybe just one, or should I just keep going where the wind blows me?
I think you have to, when you're brand new, I think you have to do both. Okay, you're going to have your base, which is going to be the area that you're going to work all the time. And then the wind's going to blow you, because when you sit open house, somebody else might live over here, and then somebody might be over here. So we kind of have to do everything when we're brand new. And you know, I see these new people and they say, oh, I need an assistant. It's like, you need an assistant like you need a hole in the head. You need to get a job first. Yeah, seriously. They want people to do everything for them. I remember when my daughter, and I can't remember who said, you know, the agents need another assistant. My daughter goes, if you don't work these people to their limits, they will never be great. It's like you don't push yourself to do everything. Like, you know, when I was brand new, I was there till 2 o'clock in the morning because I was doing everything. But you know what? That's the best thing because I learned this business inside out. When you do it yourself, then you know what to expect from the people that you eventually, you know, come to hire. But,
I have another question.
Oh, only one question. Just kidding. Go ahead.
I was reading Warren Buffett's book, and he was saying that in his book that you should have 2 forms of income. That you shouldn't just focus on one. You should maybe have something else. Do you have something else other than your real estate?
well, you know what? When I started, I know my husband and his family had a restaurant, so I was doing everything. I was waiting tables at night, and then I was working real estate until I got going, and then I could, you know, let that go. And that's what I did. I mean, you know, but the ideal situation is that if you could save enough money to just focus on real estate. That would be the ideal situation today. If they have enough money in the bank that you can focus on real estate and you know, maybe, I think sometimes teaming up with somebody, working for somebody who's got it going already, you know, maybe working as their buyer's agent, something that's going to at least get you going until you've got enough money in the bank. And you know, because you always want to work out of a comfort zone. When you work out of need, you don't sell as well.
You know, in 1984, nobody would hire me because I worked at Jack in a Box from 9 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning. And 5 brokers says, no, we cannot hire you unless you go full time. And finally, a brand new broker hired me, and I got started. All the other 5 brokers went out of business. It was terrible. Yes.
But you know what, and hold on, and I have people prospecting me all the time, you know, just saying, Amway, they know I can sell, but you have to understand, you got to sell what you believe in. You know, I don't want to be all over the place. I'm not going to sell anything else. I'm just selling real estate. You know, they can, you know, you can make more money here, you can make more money there. No, I know where I can make my money, and my focus is right here. I don't want to be all over the place. You know, when I was a little girl, my dad knew I could sell, and he made me go sell Shackley door to door. Yeah, but you know what? It's hard to sell something you don't believe in. Okay? Yes.
My question is less compared to insurance. I've been to many seminars, conventions, and whatnot, and most of one of them have the seminars of like diversifying your real estate career, which goes along with what you just asked. Do you believe in combining your real estate with probably an escrow or mortgage, insurance, something that goes in hand with the real estate?
Well, I think that would be for a broker owner. You know, a real estate agent is going to be working for the broker. The broker, you know, most of these agents, you know, they don't want the broker to make any money, so it's the only way he can make money.
Okay.
You know, the agents, you know, you want a 90% commission, well, 90% of, you know, nothing is nothing too, so.
Question to the left, right over here.
Gabriel Kowski, Farmers Insurance. Marty, you mentioned earlier about the lenders that you worked with. You knew to take a file and take it to them. Surrounding yourself with a great team, how vital, how important, that kind of, going back to what you said.
Yeah, by the way, to be successful, that is critical. You know, and Gabriel is our insurance guy because we've already got, you know, Gabriel can get our, you know, quotes to our clients immediately. I only have certain lenders that I work with because I know I can count on them and I know that they're going to get the job done. And you know, you need to align yourself with somebody that you trust that's going to make it happen. I can't tell you how important that is. That is critical. Without that loan, you've got nothing. Like I've got a short sale right now, and the lender's doing the disappearing act on me. I've been in escrow for 9 months. I go, are you kidding me? He goes, do we have an extension? I go, no. You only get an extension if you go with my lender. My lender, no deal. Period. That's the way it is. So that's why you need to, you know, connect with, you know, good lenders. Remember, without a loan, you're not getting a deal, guys. So you better connect with really good lenders.
Mike, Marty, John, I had a contact one Rose here in Rancho. You mentioned earlier that you had a REO rep in your office. What was it that you did to pursue a appropriate clientele base? And do you recommend new agents do that today?
You know what, actually, I have just a couple of, I do Bank of America, Wells, One West, and a couple of outsourcers. But that's not going to be, and thank God, because a lot of the REO people right now are down with their inventory. So that's just a small portion of what I do. We do short sale, we do REO, and we do standard sales. And still, standard is still, I think, a majority of our transactions. Because REO will be over in probably 3 years. So what are you going to do next?
Marty, did the REO accounts come to you or you went to them?
No, I went to them. You have to prospect, guys, for everything you want. Nobody's coming to you. Nobody's falling out of the sky. And let me tell you, that was a lot of hard work. That is a whole different arena, and that's a whole different ballgame. You've got to have a team and somebody sitting at a computer all the time. So if you're an individual, REO is probably not for you, because you need a team to do REO. So focus on your regular sales and your short sales. Because short sales are getting easier in many cases. So, but make sure that you learn short sale in and out. You got those files and you create a system. Otherwise, it will suck the energy out of you.
Question right here.
Hello, my name is Olivia Torres of the Capital Market. My question to you is, I hear a lot from realtors that even though they present their offers, nobody's communicating back to them. And my office, for example, is sitting on 20-something approved loans, and offers aren't getting accepted because people aren't responding back to our agents, or communication's been very difficult. How do you manage to get your offers done? Maybe someone could benefit from what you're doing to get those deals done so we can have more business.
You know what, and I think that, for me, I tell them, and we send them the document of all the items that they're missing, because afterwards, when I take the listing, I tell my client, I'm not calling you until I have a fully executed contract, copy of the buyer's check, verification on payment, letter from the letter, credit scores. I already tell my seller when I take the listing, if I don't have all that, I'm not calling you. And if somebody calls you and said they have an offer, tell them it must be incomplete then, because Marty hasn't called me. Okay, so make sure that your agent has a complete offer, because my agents wow other agents when they submit offers, because they are complete offers. And that's where we need to change the industry, because professionalism is lacking. But also, a lot of the agents are lacking, especially REO agents that you don't hear from, they don't respond, you submit your offers, and I totally feel for you, because my buyers' agents go through the same situation, and it's not right. Because but one day they're going to be on the other side of the fence. We're going to remember that, guys.
We're going to remember that. Karen, right over here.
Karen Silva from Century Texas. I was wondering, when you first started, did you hire an assistant or a team member? And when did you feel that?
I started in 1978. I didn't have my first assistant until 1989.
So when did you feel that you have to hire somebody?
In 1989, when the market shifted and real estate started going down in price. So that was the first time that I thought I need an assistant. And also, we didn't have all the disclosures we have today. So it was easier for me to keep my transactions together because I didn't have to do that many disclosures. In fact, when I started, the contract I think was 1 or 2 pages, okay, in 1978. And you didn't have all these disclosures. So it was easier to manage the transactions. Now, we have so many disclosures and so much time involved in all of the paperwork. I go on a listing appointment, and when I go on a listing appointment, I try to fill out all the paperwork, disclosures, everything, so that when you sell my house, I got a full package for you, and you are ready to go on the disclosures. And that, that's like minimum a 2-hour appointment. It's a 2-hour appointment, so make sure that you're completing everything, because you know what? I feel like when you bring me an offer, I owe that to you. I owe you a complete package. And do you know what my poor buyers agents have to go through? They can't, and the contract says, you must provide it within 7 days, and they cannot get it. Because you know what? Agents do not even read contracts. They don't have a clue what they're doing. I testify as an expert witness in the courts. In fact, I'm doing a couple of court cases right now. I do a lot of divorces. And, people don't realize these are legal contracts. I had an asset management company call me and says, oh, they want me to work with them. They want me to sign the contracts. No, we don't sign contracts. Those are legal contracts. We are not to sign for somebody else. Don't make people, make you do things that's wrong for them. Just like I tell them, don't ever ask a lender to do something that's not right above board. I tell them, don't ever do that for anybody. Everything is to be on the up and up because it is your reputation.
Get as many co-signers as you can.
Yep, whatever it takes, just do it right.
My name is Raul Tavares, Canto One Realty in Cucamonga. You said that you fill all the disclosures. My question is, at the same appointment, you do the audit at the same time?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, mine. You have to do your own. Because it's quicker, you're there, you might as well get out of the way, there's so much paperwork.
You know, a lot of times the mentality of a listing agent is just get the signature, walk away, and we'll worry about the disclosures later because we don't feel confident enough that if we stay there an hour or two, we're not going to get the listing.
Do you know how much rework you're creating? My poor agents, you know, can I have my disclosures? How many times do I have to call? That's a waste of time. And that's why we hold our files hostage at our office. Because I finally called my attorney one day, I go, what do I have to do to, you know, keep my people from hounding these agents to return disclosures? So if you do a transaction with us, you'll know that the disclosures have to be returned within 7 days before we open the escrow. Because I have to police these agents. I don't want to police them, but you know what? It's just the way it is.
Marty, who inspired, as you came up the ladder, I like to assume that you just became a winner and later on you ended up going to seminars to go ahead and complement your success, or was there somebody that went ahead and helped you drive your business to the top?
No, I was a seminar junkie from the beginning. I went to a lot of seminars, and some were good, some were bad, but you know, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to learn. I was like starved for information. And you know, the people I worked with, you know, I worked with a lot of like old people that complained all the time, drank coffee, read the newspaper, and it was like, you know those people. You know those people, you see them too. So I just wanted to like be away from them, and they would all make fun of me about going to all these seminars. You know who got the last laugh. Okay? So like I said, some were good, some were bad, but you know what? If you learn one thing, it was worth the day. It was worth the day. And now when this market shifted, do you guys know how many REO classes I've been to? How many short sale classes I've been to? Certifications? I did it all. Because I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive this, you know, this market? And you know what? I wasn't going to cry about it. I just had to get up and make it happen and learn.
Before we ask some more questions, I see people with your brand. Who's your staff? Who came to with you today?
Alan and Ron. Ron is new with us, and Alan's been with us, how long now, Alan? Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years? Yeah.
Is Marty as tough as she is on stage at the office?
Marty's pretty intense. You know, and I know that you may hear, you know, people come down on one side of the fence or the other with her.
Come on up. Put him on the hot seat here.
Yeah. No, I mean, people may come down on one side of the fence or the other with Marty, but having worked with her and being in the office, you know, late at night with her, she's amazing. And hopefully you guys can tell that. But really, I mean, the bottom line is, and she'll say a lot of the same things repeatedly, but it's like get up, show up, and go to work. You know, and I think that in this market, it's been really tough for a lot of people. And I was really struggling when I came over with her a couple of years ago. But, you know, with her help.
You came from another office.
Yeah. With her help. And
I told him, just forget everything you learned because you're starting over.
and I did. And she's just been amazing. But, I mean, the bottom line is it just comes down to, you know, how much, you know, what price are you willing to pay for the success that you want? And I think that, you know, I spent a lot of time in my early 20s trying to avoid that. But really, looking at it straight in the face and getting to work was important. She definitely helped me with that.
And tell them what you've done this past year.
My first year with Marty, I closed 24 transactions.
But you just bought a condo and a new car.
Yeah, I came to Marty. I was like in debt, renting. A year later, you know, I bought my first house, just bought a new car. So it's been pretty amazing. But I mean, it hasn't come easy at all.
What is your name?
My name's Alan Sterone.
Alan, big round of applause. We're realtors. We love to gossip. We love to talk about people. And the minute I ask, is there any questions, they all kind of crumble. You know, questions. Who had? Over there.
Victor Max, I live by lending. Marty, as your business has grown and I live in Glendora, so I often see the office in the but how do you manage to, the clients, you have your support staff, right? And you have your clients who, for lack of better words, are buying you and your service. How do you manage to stay connected with the vast amount of clients that you have in the transactions where they don't feel as though they're being tended to by your staff, but they're being tended to them by you?
You know what? Hey, you know what? Our staff is so good, and our agents are so great. People don't really care. When we get thank you letters, it's like, they don't just thank Marty, they thank the whole team. Because that's how good my people are. You know, it's all about, you know, having quality people. Because see, I work on the listing side, so I pretty much am just a listing agent. It's very rare that I represent a buyer. So when I take my listing, and then my seller wants to buy, in fact, it was funny because a lady came in to see me, and she was just a buyer. So then I referred her to Alan, and she was kind of like, he's kind of young. Do you think he can do it? And, you know, when she got done with him, she was like so happy. She sent me a, you know, a great thank you card for, you know, referring her to Alan. Because you see, we create and we help create great people. I want to work with great people. I want to work with people that want to work. And the people that believe in our systems and our standards. Because in our office, everything is organized, systemized, computerized, color-coded, labeled, and every position has a manual, so everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And that's the kind of people that I want to work with. So when they come in, they feel it. They see the culture. They understand that, you know, Alan works for Marty, and he wouldn't be working for Marty if he didn't meet the standard of the company. And a lot of, you know, our staff, like Marina's been with us like 12 years. Katya's been with us like 11 years. So a lot of our people have been there a while. And my agents, like Lori's been with me 17. Peter, my top agent's been with me about 13. And his wife's been with me about 14 years. So, you know, we have longevity. And that's, you know, for me, it's all about creating great people.
That's awesome.
You know, I have a mission statement in life. My mission statement is to bring happiness to myself and others, to be the best example I can be so that I can inspire and change lives and bring out the best in the people I touch. I have a purpose. I have a mission. And I'm accomplishing it.
One second. Marty, as I look in the room, we have a lot of power here, a lot of power. How many agents here closed over 40 deals last year or this year? Stand up. Stand up. We got, Elo, you're going to close how long? How many? 70? 60 deals. You brought them all the way from Pico Rivera. You got Ulysses here, you're going to close, what, 70? Around there? So, you know, how does it feel, Eloy, how does it feel seeing the great Marty Rodriguez coming? Because Eloy is, everybody's, they're all like, what do you call it, like all the families. But here we have the big family here, the Marty Rodriguez. How does it feel seeing somebody that's doing a ton of business?
I think it's inspiring that, you know, you can see somebody that, you know, has been in the business and long enough, you have a lot of experience, and, you know, you continue doing it and doing it and doing it year after year. You know, you don't stop doing it. You know, it seems like it's something that you totally love doing, and you know, more than anything, you know, like you said, you know, you're here, you know, you want to do it because you want to inspire other people, and you know, you're in the business because you're in for helping other families.
Perfect.
So, you know, it's great.
To the audience, how many of you have come to the first seminar, the Mr. Excellence seminar today? Okay, first, because there's a guy that went yesterday, he's come to my second seminar, and he says, for about a year, Mike, I just didn't want to go. I didn't know what the catch was. What was the catch? What was the catch? And now that he's come, he's inspired. We've used people that are touching his lives. And a lot of times we are our own worst enemies. If we put a price on it, people will come. If they don't, there's a catch. Marty, I don't understand the mentality that I'm trying to help people make at least a six-figure income. And then once they get to a six-figure income, they can take off to wherever they want. And people, agents still resent. They tell me, what's the catch? What can you tell them? When somebody like me's trying to help them out. Did they used to help us out back in the 80s and 70s? Because nobody helped me out.
No, in fact, it was funny because, you know, we had farm areas. So this was my area, this is your area, and this is your area, and this is where you work. This is how it was, guys. So, you know, I was working, and then I sent out a mailer, and the broker says, you need to stop that right now. Those are going to somebody else's area. I go, that they're not working. Let's protect all these areas that people are not working. Duh, that's what brokerage was all about in those days. So I felt like I was in jail, you know. And I remember when I left, it was like I felt like I broke out of jail. Now I could actually go out in the world and actually work anywhere I wanted to work. So, you know, that's where you're lucky. You can do that. You know, you can work all over the world on the internet today.
That's true.
I mean, when I get an email from a guy in Taiwan that says, Marty, I like your house in Glendora. Can you call my sister in Arcadia and show it to her? You know, you guys have no idea how lucky you are. You got to tap into that. But you got to respond.
Questions? Yes, Ulysses.
Hi, Marty. This is Ulysses Vega with Remax. I'm just amazed after all these years of being in the business and being at such a high level that you're still able to keep the drive. I mean, it's like, you know, you're the Michael Jordan of real estate and you're constantly at the top of the game. I mean, how do you stay motivated? I think that's something that we could all learn from.
And, you know, and I've been through that. You know, I've been through the ups and downs. You know, when the market shifted in '89 and it was going down, it was like, you know, I mean, that hit me right here, just like it hit all of you. You know, this last one here in 2007, you know, when Wall Street busted and it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Trust me, I went through the same feelings you did. I remember we had planned a trip to Australia. And it was like, oh my God, I'm in Australia. And I wasn't really in Australia. I was there, but my mind was not there. I was thinking about how am I going to come back? How am I going to keep my business going? What do I have to do? Because I can't go down with the ship with the rest of the people who are talking about the market. So I had to say, you know what? The market is what it is. It's going to do what it's going to do. What's Marty going to do? What are you going to do? And that's what I said. I started educating myself, learning short sale, learning REO, learning everything I could possibly get my hands on. I felt like that new agent again. You know, the one that was going to all the seminars? That's exactly what I felt like. Every time I turned around, I was in a class. Or I was on a webinar. And I'm still doing that now too. You know, and having my team on those webinars. Some of these, you know, like, I don't really have, you know, Fannie Direct, and yet I'm sitting on every Fannie seminar that there is because I want to be ready in case, you know, they're ready for me.
Question right over here. Stand up. Tell us who you are.
I'm Stephanie Martinez with Fidelity Insurance, and
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your insights, and it's much appreciated. My question is about branding. Did that come with your success, or is it something that you've decided consciously to brand yourself? I mean, I see you everywhere, and I think that's branding genius.
Well, you know what? You have to start somewhere. So for me, it was, you know, knocking doors. I worked in Laverne. I worked in these certain neighborhoods. So, you know, you brand yourself in a little neighborhood. And then you brand yourself in a bigger neighborhood. And then you start expanding little by little. But you have to start somewhere, guys. You know, you see me, but I didn't start here. I started like the rest of you. You start in your little area, and then you start building out and out and out. You know, because I I knocked doors in those little areas, but then I sat open house, so then I started meeting more people around, you know, outside my neighborhood, in other people's farm areas, because they used to get mad if you got a listing in their farm that they never worked. Okay, so, and then it went on to the next city, and then the next city, so I'm pretty, you know, pretty much like, you know, San Gabriel Valley is majority, you know, we come out to Fontana, that's pretty much as far as we go. Because even if I get a listing too far, guys, I'm not going to take it because I'm just taking away from my production in the area that I am. But when I'm new, absolutely take it. And go on every single, that's what I tell my agents, go on every single appointment. Get in front of every person you can think of. Learn your scripts. You know, our team does my fair, I don't care what to do something, learn what to say, how to say it, when to say it. Have your foundation. See, I didn't have all that. You know, I made the Marty Rodriguez scripts. Okay? Because really when I go to my appointment, I'm pretty much saying the same thing, so I have developed a script. And then I use a little bit of Mike's because, you know, I wasn't raised with, you know, the Mike Ferry scripts, but my agents are, so they've got their foundation, and then you can improvise it there, because you've got to know what to say. So, you know, if you're not doing Mike, you're doing Tom, or whoever you are, you know, get some kind of foundation. Learn those scripts and practice them. Because even though you practice them together, you're very limited. You're not going to get good until you get in front of somebody. When they confront you, when they tell you, like last night I was on the phone with the lady, I'm working on this court case, and she says, well, you know, I picked you, and you know, you're your fiduciary relationship. I go, you didn't pick me. I go, you don't even like me. Okay, but I'm able to, I can say that now. Okay, when I was brand new, I couldn't say that. I said, you don't even like me, the court picked me. Okay? But you won't get to that point unless you know all your information and you got it all together. Okay? So you've got to keep practicing. You know, and I know that Mike would say, only go on qualified leads. And I love Mike, but guess what, guys? Go on every lead. I don't care if it's qualified or not. That's the only way you're going to practice. Practice makes perfect. Get in front of as many people as you can. Interact. Talk. Do presentations. Do you think somebody goes out and, you know, and does a 100-yard dash because they went out and ran for the first time? No, you know how many times they have to practice to do that?
That's true.
You see those girls in gymnastics, how many hours they have to move away from home to practice? Well, you got to do the same thing to be great at a real estate presentation or a sales presentation. Because if you don't know what to say, how to say it, when to say it, guess what? You don't have their attention and you don't have their trust.
Question right over here.
My question is, and maybe a suggestion, were you ever coached by one of those,
You know what? When I started, we really didn't have coaching because I would just go to the, and I remember Mike Ferry when he had the big afro. So, you know, so I've been to Mike's seminars, but I went to a lot of seminars, and they were just all different because Mike didn't have coaching. Mike would do a seminar, and there were like several other speakers. There were Tommy Hopkins, and you know, a lot of different people. So there were always onesie seminars that I went to. So they didn't have coaching. It wasn't until the last, what, how many years? 20 years?
91, 92.
Yeah, that actually coaching started. So actually, I did coaching for a little bit, but my stepson Ed pretty much, you know, he still does coaching with one of Mike's people.
Would you recommend it for some of us that are...
You know what? If you don't have the money, no. Because I know people that have signed contracts and they can't pay the money, and now they've got the creditors after them. Okay? Be smart. Okay? Unless you've got a lot of money in the bank and you can afford that, that's fine. No. If, you know, but Mike does have some good programs that aren't very expensive. And if you don't have a good coach, you need to let them know, because don't throw your money away, don't waste it. But you know what? When you're brand new, your best coach is you. You know what you have to do, guys. You got to get up. You got to show up, dress up. And don't be looking like, you know what? By the way, I just took a listing over in Pomona. And, you know, and I homesteaded that house because I wasn't leaving without the listing. I think I was there like 3 hours. I knew she was going to sign, but she didn't want to sign that day. And then she told me that she had an agent out. She goes, she came out, you know, they listed with me, and she goes, you know why we didn't list with that other girl? She goes, she came out in stiletto high heels with shorts and her boobs hanging out. She goes, that offended me. And she's right, that is offensive. We are in a professional business. You know, you must dress like you are a professional. Because I've seen that more than once. You know, we're selling real estate, we're not selling sex. Okay? Got that? And believe it, people look at you. And that's why she didn't list with her. Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Mary, you've been one of my inspirations in my life. I follow you since the Century 21 convention. Can you share your secret how to stay humble and how to be just a normal person? That's very difficult, guys. You know, when people start selling more than 10 transactions, they think they're God.
And you know what? And you're right, and that is so true. Yeah. You know, for me, I just like, you know what? What I did yesterday doesn't matter. It's what am I doing today and tomorrow. So I think when you take that attitude, you know, people don't care that you were #1 in 1990. What are you doing today? You know, and what are you going to do tomorrow? And you know, people can hardly wait for Marty Rodriguez to fall. They ain't having it yet, guys. And you know, and not only that, you know, we need to stay healthy. You know, my dad, and a lot of you knew me when I was a little chunkier. At my peak I weighed 169, and then I was like 152, 150, I couldn't break it. But I always wanted to be thin like my dad. My dad lived to be 93, and my mom's gonna be 95. And my dad was like this till he was 92 and a half. But I knew that, you know, being in shape, being able to move, and all this gives us energy. So I wanted to be thin, so that's like really important. So you need to take care of your health. So you need to learn your scripts, you need to prospect, you need to stay healthy, you need to look good, you need to dress nice. And you don't have to dress expensive, but dress conservative, be nice, be clean, and make sure your car is clean. And make sure all my agents that your car is clean. You owe that to your client. So when you go out today, look at your car. Is it presentable? Remember, that's a tool of the trade. You need a 4-door car and it better be clean.
Uh-oh. Question.
Ian from Catalyst Lending. I have a question regarding nouveau prospecting. You haven't mentioned Twitter, Facebook, social media.
You know what, we actually have a guy that just does that. We hired Daniel to come fill in the marketing position for Jamie when she was pregnant. So now we've kept Daniel. So Daniel works my Facebook, and you know, they're working on other social media because, you know, it wasn't my language. I wasn't raised with it, but God knows I need it. And I want to be there. You know, on Yelp, I want to be on Facebook, I want to be everywhere.
I remember when Marty went into Facebook, you know, I saw it come up for the first time. I think she had like 3 friends. And, within 90 days, I think she was up to like 5,000. And not once did she respond. I remember people would, oh, hi, Marty, do you remember me? And never did she respond. She just let it go up.
And now we're trying to, you know, be able to respond or, you know, post things that are going to help people. And so I'm working on that, actually. Yeah. I think it's important. So if you can be there, and that's, I think thank God I had kids. Because my son, you know, he networked all of our system and he handles our technology.
I cut his question.
Well, I guess my question was, I mean, who wins out, old school or new school for you? I mean, at least for the new agents, should I go out and really go old school, like what you were saying about going out there and hit the pavement, or maybe relying more on technology now, since everybody seems to be on it?
See, I just want to be everywhere. So you know what? You got your basics. You know, still face to face is, you know, probably most effective. But you know what? You got to be everywhere. You got to be face to face. You got to be on Facebook. You got to be, you know, on the internet. You got to. I don't see that you can get away from any part of it.
I love Facebook.
It's a whole picture, guys.
I love Facebook. Question right over here.
Marty, do you follow a daily schedule?
You know what? I wish I did, but I don't, because, you know, again, I wasn't raised that way. And so the newbies that are starting, you know, please work on the schedule, because, you know, I wasn't raised that way, so I'm kind of like all over the place. I know in the mornings, there's only certain days I'll come in early, but when I'm not in early, I'm usually on the phone at home. Already by 7 o'clock, I got my Bluetooth on, and I'm working, negotiating, and then once I leave my house, I'm not home till probably anywhere between 10 and midnight. Okay, so when people don't see me early, it's not that I'm not working. I am working, but I get more done on the phone before I leave, you know, probably around 10 o'clock-ish. But I have certain days that I've got to be in the office by, you know, 8:30.
Question right here.
Hi Marty, I'm Chun with Century 21 Chino Hills office. My question to you is, do you remember your first deal that you did, and also how many closed sales are you going to expect for 2012?
You know what, I do remember one of my first deals. And I remember going to a presentation, you know, in those days, you used to go present your offer in front of the seller. And I remember I sold these units, so I thought, okay, inexperienced, I sit down and I present the offer and I tell him everything that's wrong with his unit while I'm presenting this low offer. It was like, that was dumb. But I didn't know, you know, I had to learn by trial and error. You know, I was telling him all the bad things, so at that point he didn't like me. And didn't want me to, you know, get that transaction. So I do remember that. And then I remember another house that I sold, and it was totally dilapidated. We couldn't get it financed. I remember my husband, I got my husband in there, ordered a dumpster, and we cleaned that place out. We had a dumpster so huge, and I got that thing financed. So I do remember, you know, my first transactions. And this year, our team, we're looking to close, we're probably about 440 transactions, I think, at this point now.
440?
Yeah.
And in gross commissions, what would that be, more or less?
Close to, I think, $4.
$4 million? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Questions? Yes?
This is Elizabeth, and I'm with Contract One Oyoque, and I want to ask you what resources are you using besides your marketing and also your financial?
Well, actually, we have, you know, we have our website. We have, we do the Tribune, Star News, Whittier every Saturday, every Sunday, every Thursday, and then the Daily Bulletin.